those who would bear the hopes and future of our people. Let the voice of their guns express the words of freedom. Greetings to the people and fellow comrade brothers and sisters. My name is SinQue, and to my comrades I am known as Sin. I am a black man and a representative of black people. I hold the rank of General Field Marshal in the United Federated Forces of the Symbionese Liberation Army. Today I have received an order from the Symbionese War Council, the Court of the People, to the effect that I am ordered to convey the following message in behalf of the SLA and to insert a taped word of comfort and verification that Patricia Campbell Hearst is alive and safe. The Symbionese Liberation Army is the federated union of military political elements of many different liberation struggles and of many different races. Our unified purpose is to liberate the oppressed peoples of this nation and to aid other oppressed people around the world in their struggle against fascist imperialism and the robbery of their freedom and homeland. Since this is the purpose and goal of the SLA, it is therefore clear to us, as it will be to all oppressed people, that our interest is to serve and defend the people and not ourselves, since the people shall always come first in our hearts and souls. The SLA has arrested the subject for the crimes that her mother and father have by their actions committed against we the American people and the oppressed people of the world. In understanding this charge, we must first understand who the Hearsts are and who they serve and represent. Randolph A. Hearst is the corporate chairman of the fascist media empire of the ultra-right Hearst Corporation, which is one of the largest propaganda institutions of this present military dictatorship of the militarily armed corporate state that we now live under in this nation. The primary goal of this empire is to serve and form the necessary propaganda and smokescreen to shield the American people from seeing the realities of the corporate dictatorship which Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford represent. This network of propaganda and confusion has succeeded in hiding the truth from the people. That truth being that this nation has suffered its first military corporate coup, and that the Constitution which some of us still believe in has been overthrown. The fascist Hearst Corporation is composed of, firstly, a national newspaper syndicate, which includes the San Francisco Examiner and Chronicle, and others which jump from California and to as far away as New York and Philadelphia. Secondly, a magazine monopoly composed of over 13 publications, which include, for example, House Beautiful, Harper's Bazaar, Town and Country, and Cosmopolitan. Thirdly, a TV and radio station empire across the nation with production of propaganda films for both national and international use. Fourth, ownership of vast areas of real estate in the United States and Mexico, forests, grassland, and cattle farms. All of this is directly connected to Washington and the corporate dictatorship of Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. That is to say that the Hearst Empire is one of the empires of the ruling class and whose interests serves the rich and are in direct contradiction with the interests of the people. Therefore, they are enemies of the people. Mrs. Randolph A. Hearst is a member of the University of California Board of Regents and is responsible, along with others appointed by Governor Ronald Reagan, for the loaning of funds and the investments of our California tax monies in corporations which have interest and do gain profit from the robbery, oppression, and genocide carried out by fascist and racist governments around the world and within the United States itself. The regents, with the support of Mrs. Hearst, have time and time again been requested by we the people to not invest our money in such fascist corporations as General Motors, Westinghouse, Gulf, Standard Oil, Bank of America, and others who have and do serve and gain profit from the oppression, robbery, and murder that is committed against black people of South Africa, where 70,000 black children a year die from malnutrition, against white people of Ireland, where U.S. trained British soldiers shoot down in the street Irish fathers and mothers as U.S. manufactured tear gas suffocates Irish children as their older sisters and brothers rot in British concentration camps. Against the freedom of the Philippine people, where United States and Marcos puppet soldiers use U.S. manufactured napalm to attempt to burn away the spirit of freedom from the hearts and souls of the poor and starving. The UC Board of Regents, one of California's largest foreign investors, supports through its investments the murder of thousands of black men, women, and children of Mozambique, Angola, and Rhodesia. Murders designed to destroy the spirit that all humanity longs for. With all these crimes placed before the Board of Regents and Mrs. Hearst, with all the pleas from the people to stop supporting these corporations and the murder of thousands of men, women, and children, the Board and Mrs. Hearst did not raise one voice in protest or refuse to be a party to these crimes committed against these people and those committed against the American people. Through these acts and others, the Court of the People hold the Hearst family accountable for their crimes and hold that they are enemies of the people. We of the Symbionese Liberation Army hold that the Hearst Corporation and the Hearst family and the Board of Regents, as well as the corporate states which they support and aid, are enemies of the people, and as such, that the people have the legal and human right and duty to attack said enemy according to the forms of war taken by the oppressed people against any enemy or murderer and oppressor to regain their freedom and liberty and we give life to their children and people. It is therefore the directive of this court that before any form of negotiation for the release of the subject prisoner be initiated, that an action of good faith be shown on the part of the Hearst family to allow the court and the oppressed people of this world and this nation to ascertain as to the real interests and cooperative attitude of the Hearst family, and in so doing show some form of repentance for the murder and suffering they have aided and profited from. And this good faith gesture is to be in the form of a token gesture to the oppressed people that they aid the corporate state in robbing and removing their rights to freedom and liberty. This gesture is to be in the form of food to the needy and the unemployed, and to which the following instructions are directed to be followed to the letter. In closing, and speaking personally for myself and as a father of 2 children, I wish to say to Mr. Hearst and Mrs. Hearst that I, as well as the forces under my command through the authority of the Court of the People, are not savage killers and madmen, and we do hold a high moral value to life. We value life very deeply, and with all the spirit that we as human beings can bring forth in our hearts. But speaking as a father, I am quite willing to lose both of my children if by that action I could save thousands of white, black, yellow, and red children from a life of suffering, exploitation, and murder. And I am therefore quite willing to carry out the execution of your daughter to save the life of starving men, women, and children of every race.
And I am also, along with the loyal men and women of many races who love the people, quite willing to give our lives to freeing the people at any cost. And if, as you and others so naively believe, that we will lose, let it be known that even in death we will win. For the very ashes of this fascist nation will mark our very graves.